Good? Hey everyone, I'm Sebastian from KateCast Reviews. Let me go ahead and make sure that everything is okay up in here. Alright, so you finally got a chance to see the fruits of my labor. Wow, that really was something, wasn't it? I'm gonna be very honest. As I sit here and I think about all the hard work that I put into this incredible video, this big overachievement of mine, I just really just sit there and I wonder to myself, was any of it even worth it at the end? Because truth be told, part of me was almost at war with the whole idea of even continuing this video for a variety of different reasons. A lot of... Oh, thank you, Kate. I did do it. I did it. I did it, right? I actually did it! After a year and a half! Part of me was just unsure if any good will actually come out of it. Like, would I actually succeed in pulling this off and trying to make this the best possible video that I could make? And I'm gonna be honest, I ended up getting a little bit of self-doubt, and it didn't help that part of me believed that it just wasn't gonna be worth it at the end. I wanted to believe that this whole thing was just gonna be a video that was gonna go anonymously, Christ. But after working as hard as I did on this, honestly, I'm very grateful for the fact that I was able to truly put in all the necessary hard work needed in order to pull this off. And I'm very grateful for all of you for being able to get a chance to see it. What do we got here? I found you to the musicals with Cheese Discord just recently. Oh, I'm glad you found me, and I'm glad I found you as well. Really, the whole thing with Dear Evan Hansen and why I went about doing this is because, like so many people, I got into the show with the music. The music is what drew me into it. I wanted to check out the show, but because I live in Puerto Rico, I have no access to the musical, and I could only see it through bootlegs. I thought there was never going to be a very good bootleg that I can find to watch it, but lo and behold, YouTube gave me exactly what I was looking for. And I still have that bootleg saved up on my hard drive, because otherwise I would never have been able to do my original Dear Evan Hansen video that I did back in 2021, which jump-started my desire to explore this musical even further. And eventually, that video, believe it or not, started off as an actual legitimate essay that I wrote while I was slaving behind a desk in my job while we were still suffering from COVID. And it was a little idea that I had workshopped at the Wings Discord. I shared it with everybody. Bless Slime Trails, they really did help my ass in this. And at the end of all of this, when I finally figured out that this is something that I'm passionate about, but no one's ever going to know about any of this, no one's going to see this, no one's going to care that much about it, I had to remind myself, wait a minute, don't I have a YouTube channel? And then I remember, I don't. But I did have a review site on Facebook. But I didn't want to go back to just doing crappy vlogs talking about things that I either like or didn't like, because that was me when I was trying to go through my nostalgia critic phase of wanting to just be like Channel Awesomeness and basically copy pasting their formula, which now looking at it in hindsight, I'm glad I steered away from that garbage. But part of me really wanted to avoid YouTube altogether because of personal issues. And when I finally got the courage to actually do so, I realized now that my biggest goal for this was going to be day one, a video talking about Dear Evan Hansen. Not a review, a video essay. I was inspired by people like Lindsay Ellis or Patrick Willems. Nowadays, I'm inspired by people like H Bomber Guy, Defunctland, and so many others. And I didn't think that a person like me who could barely work a camera could suddenly learn how to edit and put videos together, work with audio, mixing, and all that jazz. But somehow I ended up pulling it off, and it became exactly what I was hoping it would be. It took me almost a year to get that video done, but to my utter shock and surprise, that video proved to be a lot more successful than I was anticipating. Right now, it is currently around 11,000 views, and I was expecting less, to be honest. I didn't expect that video to blow up. Part of me was kind of hoping that the hate views would give it a bit more of a jump, but people liked it too much. They were too busy liking the video and giving their own perspectives on the show, talking about what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it, how they could have told the story differently, how they wish the story would have been handled. Surprisingly, not a lot of people angry or complaining that I didn't like their precious Dear Evan Hansen. I still stand by what I said. Hashtag deal with it. Or at deal with it. I don't get it, but screw it. Still, I knew that I wasn't going to be talking about something negatively unless I had something to say about it, and when I wrote that original Dear Evan Hansen draft, part of me thought, there's no way in hell I can pull something like this off. And I kind of shut that shit down almost immediately because I thought, okay, I wrote my video, well, I wrote my essay, but I'm not going to do anything about this, even though I said I would do so. I said I was going to do a video on Camp Rock, and I never did that. Kate will tell you everything about it. I'm never going to go through that nightmare ever again. But I still thought that there was something to say here, and if I didn't say anything about it, someone else would eventually do so. If they did it and they used the words that I wish I could have used, it would have made me feel like I could have had that voice be heard, but no one else would ever hear it, unless it's being spoken by someone bigger and better. And that's what led me to do my video, because I wanted to get my voice across, and I wanted people to hear what I had to say, regardless of whether or not they liked it. So I was very shocked to see that people were actually happy when the video came out. I remember a lot of people were praising it, they were sharing it, they were talking about it, they were commenting on it. Jess and Andrew from Musicals with Cheese famously wrote hashtag Justice for Connor, and that's the reason why I bought this shirt from them on their website, along with this mug, which, believe it or not, ended up coming in months late. I swear to God, I had a refund issue for this thing, but I still received it somehow. And when I finally did that video, I got that sense of catharsis. But then the movie came out. And like I said on that video, I promised that I would watch it and I would do a video talking about it. It was supposed to be a simple review. I was still doing reviews back then. But god damn it, that movie sucks so hard that I couldn't actually review it. I did a 3-minute TikTok talking about it because that was the only possible way that I could actually get my feelings across without exerting that much energy talking about it. To me, that was enough, but I still wanted to talk about it, especially since I ended up hyping up that I would talk about the movie, but nothing of it ever actually came. So I slept on it. I talked about how bad it is. I made fun of it. I shared some of the stupid moments on film that I thought were honestly kind of hilarious. But I never talked about it despite how badly I wanted to. And I was very afraid that if I did, it would be another monumental achievement of mine that would take a substantial amount of time and energy away from me. And I was going through a lot of shit that left me a little bit emotionally drained. Oh yes, I did rant about it on Discord for hours. No joke, every time somebody is talking about Dear Evan Hansen, even in passing, I will always sneak my way into that conversation and just be like, somebody talking about Dear Evan Hansen and nobody invited me? I would always just butt into whatever that conversation is just to shit on Dear Evan Hansen. Because I don't hate things. I'm not a person who hates. I'm not a hater. I promise I am not. But when I was listening to the musical and I listened to the cast recording, that music made me cry my eyes out. I was on a fucking plane, asleep, and listening to You Will Be Found had me tearing up, imagining so many things, reflecting on so many stuff. Then, when I finally watched the bootleg and I started to see what the actual show is, my very first thought when I watched this was, is this a show about a guy who killed himself because he misunderstood the situation and the guy responsible for it ends up profiting from his death? I ended up brushing it off and I just kept on watching. And then when it got to Only Us, no joke. I was so visibly uncomfortable by Only Us that I stopped watching the bootleg entirely and I just quit right on the spot. Years later, would I actually continue watching it? And when I say years later, I mean I never even finished the bootleg by the time I did my original Dear Evan Hansen video. I skimmed through certain moments just so I can get footage for the video. And as I did, I got the gist of what happened. The Phantom Connor basically told Evan that you can't even tell yourself the truth. How'd you break your arm? Did you fall or did you let go? And when I saw that, I actually visibly screamed because I could not believe that this fucking monstrosity of a human being had the audacity to not only profit off the death of someone that he didn't know, he had no connection with him whatsoever, but that he would also go through an extra step of basically saying, look, I know what I did was wrong, but I tried to kill myself by jumping out of the smallest tree in the fucking universe. So give me some goddamn pity points, will ya? I will never forget my infamous ending towards that video where I ended up going on a long-winded rant about how the suicide aspect of Evan Hansen ended up pissing me off so much. And I even remember exactly what it was that I said. I specifically said, and I quote, many of those friends I met also had it rough. Many of them can no longer be found. So who the fuck are you to say that they will? And I thought that was just the perfect way to just skip to the conclusion, because nothing else I say can describe in every facet that I can imagine why Dear Evan Hansen was a terrible show for me. Like, if you like it, that is fine. I don't give a shit about people's opinions. They're all stupid for me personally. But if you're going to like something, then you need to be prepared to accept when others disagree with your opinion or have feelings that may conflict with yours. And I'm okay with people that like Dear Evan Hansen. I promise you, I am not the kind of guy who's gonna be like, you shouldn't like this is bad, and you're bad, because I like stupid shit too, for God's sake. I'm the kind of guy who will tell you that Top Gun Maverick is one of the greatest movies ever made, and I'll also be the guy who's gonna be like, this is a military propaganda piece? Because I have no fucking sense of identity. Because, and I want to make it clear, I don't care if you like or dislike something, as long as whatever you like or dislike doesn't involve horrible garbage or makes you an asshole for either liking or disliking somebody. There's a reason why I have nothing against people who are supporters of PETA, but I fucking hate PETA themselves. If you don't know why, go do the research yourself. I promise you're gonna hate yourself for ever donating to them. So, my video gets released in 2021. I watched, as soon as that video got released, I went to watch a production of In the Heights here in Puerto Rico with an all Puerto Rican cast. And it was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had, because we didn't watch this in a regular theater. We watched it on a fucking stadium where they host concerts and even football and baseball games on occasion. So it was a 18-seater stadium, and we were all sitting on the front on the arena with chairs, while there were people sitting on the bleachers and the nosebleeds. And when it got to blackout, as the whole freaking stadium went pitch black and all of us grabbed our phones, we turned on the lights and lit up the whole fucking place, just like in the movie. Like, you know, when you're watching a show in theaters, you're not supposed to use your cell phone? Well, there was nothing nor any rules saying that we couldn't record the show while we were watching it. So we all kind of took the hint, and we ended up illuminating the arena as this was happening. So here I am having the greatest time of my life, and all of a sudden the video on the musical is blowing up. Maybe not extremely, but it's still leaving something of an impact. And it really motivated me to want to keep going, because this was my 1,000 subscriber special, and I wanted it to be a legitimate achievement. But I still felt like I could do more. I can do better. Can I do better? I absolutely know that I can. But I didn't end up doing anything that was anywhere close to that. And I thought to myself, what about the movie? There's something for me to do with the movie if I just sack up and actually do something. But I could never actually find anything to say about it, because I was still so emotionally drained. I hated everything about this movie, because unlike the musical, I had nothing positive to say about it. It was really a case of this was the worst version of Dear Evan Hansen, not because it was bad, but because it actively tried to fix things. And it does try to do some changes. Very good changes, but those changes were window dressing. They were the equivalent of putting a band-aid on a goddamn brain tumor. They didn't help at all. So watching this movie in an empty-ass theater with only 6 people, all of them were teenagers, by the way, and I think there was one old man that was in there watching it as well. He was sitting behind me. I thought, okay, mira papi, ¿cómo te estás? But watching this movie alone in an empty theater, it was the equivalent of watching Gem and the Holograms in theaters when it first came out, where no one was watching this. I actually was looking at this thinking to myself, this is going to be defended by everybody, everyone is going to love this, and everyone's going to hate it at the same time. It was going to be the Batman v Superman in 2021. But then the movie came out, I watched it, and no one cared! Were you walking up to the punching bag that was this movie, not expecting the rest of the internet to take a swing too? That's the thing, they were barely swinging. This was a case where the movie said, you, me, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, be there or be squared, and the rest of the internet decided to just be squared. I was the only one that took them up on the offer. But at the end of all of this, the movie still didn't do anything to actually warrant any kind of hatred from me. The movie failed so horribly that it failed itself in the process. So nothing I say or do could be worse than this. And then when I found out that the musical was closing, I knew for a fact that I had to get that video done. I knew that this was basically God himself telling me, Cabron, get off your ass and do it. Because it wasn't enough that the musical announced that it was closing. It was closing the day before for the 1 year anniversary of the release of my old Dear Evan Hansen video. I shit you not, I am not joking when I say this. It's almost like God himself, or Allah, or Buddha, whatever entity you choose to believe in, looked at Dear Evan Hansen and thought, I'm gonna mess you up so badly, but I'm gonna let someone else do it for me, because nothing I do will be worse than whatever crimes you've already committed, which was simply being Dear Evan Hansen. And yeah, I was shocked about that too, but to be fair, they were workshopping the idea of turning this into a movie as far as 2019. Ben Platt himself even said that if they were to make a movie, he would definitely be interested in playing Evan Hansen again. And we all know how that turned out. But knowing that the musical was going to be closing on the day before I did my video a year ago, it just felt like the stars were too aligned for me to not go back to talk about it. So I tried to get my video out as fast as I did. I wanted it to be a small video. This is the fact. This is a true fact, by the way. True fact, simple fact. I don't know. Anyway, so this was supposed to be a 20 to 30 minute video. It was supposed to be a review, an actual honest to God review, not a video essay. That was never part of my plan. What was part of my plan wasn't even to do Dear Evan Hansen first. It was supposed to be The Greatest Showman. The Greatest Showman was supposed to be what would eventually lead me to do Dear Evan Hansen. Because Dear Evan Hansen was a huge, important part of the story that we crafted for that Greatest Showman video that I'm working on. That's not going to be a review either. In fact, I don't know what I'm going to call it, but that video is going to be less of a review and more of a psychological... I want to say psychological thriller, but it's more akin to that of a story about grief from the perspective of someone who has nothing to grieve over. And in my case, the angle that I want to be tackling here is I want to make this a piece of self-reflection for me. I want this to basically be a video that is reflecting on all the terrible influences that I personally had growing up that led me to want to be a reviewer type. And the big reason why the video that you just saw had a lot of nostalgia critic in it, which is way more than anybody should rightfully have for obvious reasons, is that I want nostalgia critic to be framed for exactly what he is: a villain, a monster. In my honest opinion, that's it's basically that. Analysis, introspection, a therapy session. You can just say all of the above. I listen to this and I'm thinking about the lyrics to Inner White Girl from A Strange Loop. Can you be cool, calm, introspective? But it's basically what my vision was. And this is not a vision that I just made for The Greatest Showman, mind you. No. This is a vision that I had for when I was originally doing my Snyder Cut video, which is a video that I look down on nowadays because I think that video has really not aged all that well. Especially the ending where I said restore the Snyderverse. God, I can't even say that without vomiting profusely. I regret ever saying that or even ever playing a part into trying to be like these fucking parasites who are now trying to start to get Netflix to buy the Snyder Cut. These imbeciles are actually trying to... That's not for this discussion though, I just thought it would be hilarious. But I legitimately wanted that video to serve as something of a movie. I wanted it to be a movie sort of thing, which is ironic because I'm terrible at making movies and I'm terrible at directing, or at least I thought that I was. But when I workshopped that idea, and I even workshopped that idea with some of my friends and they thought it was a good idea as well, part of me thought this is not the kind of movie that I want to do it for. It's not for something like Batman v Superman or Man of Steel or the upcoming Zack Snyder's Justice League. It just wasn't gonna work. So I thought maybe this is a terrible idea in general. I should probably just forget about it. But that lingering feeling of pain and regret from ever being influenced by somebody horrible like Doug Walker. And don't worry, I'm not bad-mouthing any reviewers at all. No, I'm not bad-mouthing anybody. I want to make it, before I continue this, I want to make it clear. I have nothing but love and respect for everybody in Channel Awesome except the ones who are still in Channel Awesome, like Brad Jones, Doug Walker, and I want to say Guru Larry, but Guru Larry is Guru Larry. He's only in there as a joke, so I have nothing but love and respect for him as well. So, unless you're Doug Walker or Brad Jones, I have nothing but love and respect for everyone who's ever worked with Channel Awesome. Hell, I'm even patronizing a couple of them myself. Il Nej, he technically was a video reviewer on Channel, but okay, not to go on a tangent here, but the musical artist Il Nej, before all of you knew him as a musician, I knew him as the guy who did the videos called What We Used to Watch, or What We Had to Watch, where he did, I want to say, 10 to 20 reviews of certain movies that I actually found myself a big fan of whenever he did them. But then eventually he moved on to do music instead, and honestly, good for him, because he's a better musician than he is a reviewer. Don't tell him I fucking said that. But, I mean, I'm sure you can do that, because I'm sure he'll agree with that whole perspective, but like I said, I have nothing but love and respect for all of them. It's Doug Walker himself that I have no respect for, not just as a content creator or a reviewer, but also as a person, and you only have to look at the Not So Awesome document to see why I have zero respect for him or any of the other fuckwits from Channel Awesome who are still working there. So, I wanted that video to be something of a... Basically, what I wanted to do was something akin to what Red Letter Media did with their Star Wars videos. I am not a fan of Red Letter Media. In fact, I will even go as far as to say that I dislike Red Letter Media. But I understand why they did those stupid Star Wars videos, because I saw what their intent was, and the intent was supposed to be catharsis. And I understand that. I understand wanting to gain catharsis for something that you're not exactly a fan of. And I wanted to get that catharsis for something like the Snyder Cut or the Snyderverse in general, but I got that catharsis with the Snyder Cut actually being a decent movie, so it really wasn't worth it for me to save this storyline that I had building up in my head for something like this. But then I remember, holy shit, I could do something like this for Dear Evan Hansen. Because unlike the Snyder Cut, I have nothing but dislike for the movie. I hated what this movie did because it had every potential to be great and it failed on all of those levels. So I decided to try that storyline again, and while I was workshopping this idea with Kate from KateCast Reviews, who is currently talking about how she followed Il Nej from when he did the Pokemon series of videos. He was the only guy who talked about Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea. My favorite Pokemon movie ever. Don't ask me why I have this copy here. I'm a prop guy. I have it there for purposes that don't actually make any sense. But I wanted to have The Greatest Showman be the video that ties in to me finally doing Dear Evan Hansen. But then we both got, I'm not going to say lazy, we both got backed up by everything around us, trying to essentially tell us that we are not going to get this shit done anywhere near as fast as we hoped that we could. It was never going to happen no matter what, and I do not blame either of us for delaying the inevitable, because I know for a fact that she has to work, I had to work, we were both swamped with shit that we needed to work on, and it was never going to, we were never going to have the time to get this video out, and I'm very grateful that she still stood by despite how much we delayed this inevitability. But I just find it funny that despite me coming up with this small idea for a collaboration, it ended up becoming the hardest thing for us to get done. Not just because that script that we worked on which was supposed to be short. It was supposed to be short and sweet and to the point. Also became a big fucking huge deal for us. If I recall correctly, the document is around 45 or how many pages? I think it was around 40 to 45 pages, or give or take. Like, why the hell do I keep making hour-long scripts? I don't know what the hell is going on, but yeah, that's basically what happened. But now we have a chance to finally fulfill this opportunity and actually make things right. And now that the script is already done, I'm happy to report that we can actually get started in trying to make the final preparations to get the video made. So I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited for us to finally get the video completed. It won't be immediately, mind you. I don't know how long is it going to take for us to get this done, but believe me when I say I will. 34 pages. Okay. I will make sure that this video lives up to whatever hype that the Dear Evan Hansen video did. Oh, God. Excuse me, my mom was texting me while I was doing all this. So, yeah, 1 second. Okay. Thank you for interrupting my stream, Mom. So, I'm not gonna, don't ask me what my opinion is on Your Movie Sucks. I have a lot of foul opinions on Your Movie Sucks that I'm not gonna get into here. But, I genuinely wanted to make my Dear Evan Hansen video the ending of my quote-unquote Pasek and Paul trilogy, which consisted of my video essay on the musical version Dear Evan Hansen, followed by The Greatest Showman, and then ending with Dear Evan Hansen, the movie. But I decided, as amazing as that would have been, it really felt like it would have made much more sense to end with The Greatest Showman as a sort of, have that be the catharsis moment, whereas Dear Evan Hansen would be where catharsis would need to be found. Oh my god, and working on this was absolutely a huge undertaking. And I wanted to make this the greatest possible video that I could make on the subject. I also felt slightly challenged to do so because how do I say this without coming off as smug, but I'm a fan of YouTuber Shay Frillis, and one of my favorite videos of his was the video that he did talking about Dear Evan Hansen, which is why I used the opening of it in the first few minutes of the video post intro. And there was one particular moment that really stuck with me, and that's when he said in that video that he would eventually talk about it. He would make a bigger, longer video talking about Dear Evan Hansen, the movie, when it becomes readily available on digital or on video. And it's been over a year and a half since he did that video, and nothing came from it. And I'm not trying to, but let me make it clear, I'm not trying to downplay anything. I'm not trying to say or criticize or anything like that. I promise you, that is not what I'm trying to do here. What I'm saying is, I saw that as something of a challenge for me to try to beat him to the punch with that. And now that the video is out, part of me feels a little bit of, I don't know what the word for it is, but I just feel that it is kind of amazing that I managed to beat a big YouTuber to the punch with releasing a video talking about a certain movie that he wanted to talk about before he could. And, you know, you only roast the ones you love, and Shay Frillis is a guy I have nothing but love and respect for, and I really hope that you recover from everything that's happened to you, and I'm very sorry for your loss. But I part of me wanted to dedicate that video as well to Shea Frillis because he really did help influence me to be a video essayist along with other people like Lindsay Ellis and H Bomber Guy. But his video for Dear Evan Hansen is what really inspired me to want to make this video and make it as unapologetic as I possibly could while also being 100% critical about it. And I just don't know if I did it justice. I want to believe that I did though, and there were so many amazing things happening in my life now ever since I finished that video. And ironically, the one negative aspect of it was the fact that that video is currently not monetizable. I am not able to get any money from it, which is a shame, but to be perfectly honest, I didn't do it for the money. I wouldn't mind making money off of that video. I promise you, I have nothing against making a living doing YouTube. I want to, trust me, I do. But if the video is not going to make a single penny out of it, the fact that people are watching it and actually getting something out of it, to me, makes that video a bigger success than my original Dear Evan Hansen video that is currently one of my highest earning videos ever. It isn't a lot, but I feel like the principle really does count in this situation. So even if the video doesn't make enough money or any money whatsoever, the fact that people are watching it and talking about it is more than enough for me, and that's honestly why I really push so hard to get people to talk about it, because I want this video to be for me what Defunctland's video on the Disney Channel jingle was for him, or what H Bomber Guy's video on the Roblox oof was for him as well. Which is why I ended up crediting the Roblox oof to the real person who did it and not the guy who claims that he did it. I wanted this to be my Phantom Menace video that Red Letter Media did so many years ago. I wanted this to be the thing that people will remember me for forever. For forever. For forever this way. Fuck my life. But I think I succeeded. I want to believe that I succeeded, even if some people will look at this and probably ignore it. But the fact that I had people actually sitting here watching it, that to me feels like a victory in and of itself. So even if the video isn't as successful as any of my previous videos, the fact that people even watched it now is more than enough for me. So I'm proud of what I did, and I'm proud that people were able to see it. I just hope that others will get to see it more because, like I said before, I really do want this video to blow up and become the biggest thing that I've ever made. But for now, though, I can confidently say that I have never been more proud of any video that I've done. And I would honestly appreciate nothing more if everyone watching this can spread the word about this and let others know about the achievement that this was. Because, to be perfectly honest, I don't mind the money. I don't care about the money. I just want people to know that this video came from me. I want them to know that it wasn't from one of those big YouTubers that they follow. It was some guy who's new, who is still young, who's still young in the sense that young on YouTube. I'm almost fucking 30. But I'm glad that I was able to do something that so many other YouTubers would not even bother or dare to do because they're afraid of the demonetization woes that would come from this. I want to believe that if Shea Frillis got to do his Dear Evan Hansen video like he said he was going to do, if he ever will in the future, that it would have been something akin to this. I want to believe that people will look at this in the same way that they looked at Defunctland when he did a nearly 2-hour-long video talking about it was 90 minutes talking about the Disney Channel jingle. It will never be anything close to that in terms of quality or even in terms of research, but to me, what mattered more than anything is the fact that I said to myself that I would make this happen, and I fucking did it. And I'm very happy to know that I was successful in making it a thing. And I'm I'm not gonna lie, when I finally finished that video, I actually legit just broke down and I started crying on my chair, thinking that this video was never going to be made, and it finally just finished. Cause when I was originally making this video, I lost it. I was already halfway through completing it, but my hard drive fell into the floor and it bricked completely. It made my computer slow. It would not work. And I would not have been able to do anything because everything that I worked on has now been completely lost. And I felt so heartbroken and defeated that I actually kind of considered giving up entirely, not just on the video, but also potentially YouTube, because I was so emotionally unstable from that happening that I just couldn't bother to do it anymore. I honestly felt defeated and I hated everything about it. But now, thanks to a good friend of mine, Gabe, I love you, he supplied me with a brand new hard drive, and because of him, and the fact that I discovered that the intro to my video was salvaged because I accidentally saved it on my Dropbox, I felt that burning sensation light up in my ass again, and I'm not trying to make a hemorrhoid joke out of it, and it made me want to actually start over. You know, maybe the original video wasn't all that good. Some of that footage was terrible. And it was terrible because I tried, even looking back at it, the audio mixing was so bad. So I redid the footage that wasn't me sitting down, that wasn't me being filmed by my friend Gabe. His footage survived because he thankfully had a backup, which is something that, any normal thinking person would have been smart enough to do, but I'm a 29-year-old dumbass who dropped out of college, so you can imagine how smart I am. But redoing all of that footage made me feel like I can do this better. Oh, and by the way, I just want to make it clear, when you see this video again, rewatch it or share with anybody, every single moment that you see me on screen talking about the movie, not in, and I don't mean like any of the footage that he shot, just the moments where I'm actually talking about the Dear Evan Hansen movie, I was suffering from COVID on all of that footage. Yes, I was COVID ridden during all of those. So the fact that I was able to muster enough energy to act out and actually show emotion throughout all of that is really saying something. But yes, I really do not think this video could not have been made without the love and support of my friends. Gabe, who is now serving as a backseat editor as well as a I want to call him a Let's Player, because we now have a gaming channel here that's tagged to Cinemageddon Reviews, which is called Cinemageddon Plays, and he just released the first video that he's doing playing The Last of Us, the video game, and I could not have done this without his generosity and his talent with the camera. I also could not have done this without the love and support of my girlfriend Erica, who I swear to God is the only reason why I even bothered to want to continue doing this, because if anyone's going to motivate me to do anything, it might as well be the only person in your life that matters. The only woman in your life that matters, I meant to say. But everyone who has been there for me, my friend Kate, who's watching this stream right now, who's going to be working with me for the Dear Evan Hansen video, for the Great Showman video, Brendan Henderson from Wayne the Wings, the Wayne the Wings himself, Jess and Andrew from Musicals with Cheese, every single one of you, Chris, Musical Hell, all of you have become huge influences for me to try to become better than what I am. And I want this video, this Dear Evan Hansen hour 42-minute long video essay, to serve as my love letter to all of you. And my thank you for helping me to become the best possible YouTuber or video essayist that I could possibly be. And I want to be better. I want to be better than what I already am. I already climbed to the peak of the mountain with that Dear Evan Hansen video, and now I want to go further. I don't care if I have to get a fucking jetpack or if I have to get on a helicopter to do so, but I shit you not, I am going to get to the top and become bigger than I already am. Maybe not bigger than any of those other people, but I'm not trying to be better. I'm not trying to be bigger. I just want to prove to myself that I can be better and that I can be bigger. And I fucking will. That is not a fucking that's not a threat, that's a promise. So, what's going to happen now? So, a lot of things are happening in my life right now. Changes. I finally had a chance to quit my job and get a job working in a bank. That's going to be a lot more helpful to me financially. I am going to be working on some of the scripts that I had planned for this year. I already have 2 of them already completed. The Greatest Showman video, and following this, I'm going to be working on the Uncharted video that I promised myself that I would end up doing. You know, I would love to soar the skies and reach the stars with a trusty Latias. You wrote Latios. I think you meant to say Latias, but it's okay. I get what you're saying there. But I am going to be working very hard to make sure that all of my newest videos are going to be bigger and better than what they should be. And after the Greatest Showman video, I'm going to be working extensively on an Uncharted video that I've workshopped around for over a couple of months back in 2022. And it is honestly one of the best scripts I've ever done. And it's not going to be one where I'm going to be sitting in front of a camera talking like I did with this one. I want to explore where my editing and where my video making techniques will take me. So look forward to that, because like Nathan Drake himself, I want to be able to make myself go places, and I'm going to go places that all of you watching at home are going to be able to come with me on. I want to make that video a field trip to some of the most beautiful places in all of Puerto Rico. El Morro, El Yunque, El Jardín Botánico, everywhere. I want to make that video a field trip, because I want it to feel like as much of an adventure as the games that the movie bastardized. And after that video comes out, I want to do something that I promised I would do in 2022, but it ended up scrapping because I couldn't find the motivation to make it happen. If there's 3 videos that I want to work on right now: The Greatest Showman, Uncharted, and after Uncharted is done, Your Name. This is my biggest achievement. What turned me into a reviewer. What made me want to become a reviewer in the first place. What helped make Cinemageddon Reviews what it is. Your Name is one of the most important movies in my life. And I promised I would make a video talking about it. I even made a quick little teaser on YouTube that I ended up privating because it really wasn't all that good. And I never got a chance to do it like I wanted to. Now that my Dear Evan Hansen video was out, and that the Greatest Showman video was gonna be being done. Oh yeah, by the way, the Oscar fan vote video is going to be delayed. I don't know until when, but I decided to delay that because there just wasn't that much interaction with it as there was last year, which is a bit of a shame. So we're gonna hold off on that for now and see how the rest of the month goes, or at least how the Oscars go when I eventually live stream it this next week. But I'm still holding on to the idea of us doing another Oscars fan vote video, but right now I want to focus my attention on my 3 videos that I want to work on right now, which in this case are The Greatest Showman, Uncharted, and Your Name. That's going to be the thing that I'm going to be focusing a lot of my attention on, because I want those videos to have the same level of quality, if not a bigger level of quality, than what my Dear Evan Hansen video did. But to do this, I need a little help from everyone who is a fan of and is also watching us as we speak. I need to help get Cinemageddon Reviews noticed by more people. And in order for me to do that, I need to have everyone watching to spread the word, share our content, and let everyone know that not only are we hard at work on this, but that we're also working to make our content better than what we're promising. I also want to prioritize helping to get the Patreon notice so that we can be able to, when situations like this happen again, that we can end up still making a profit out of it, even if it isn't that much. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the money, it's the principle, but getting a bit of financial help to make these videos will definitely make things even better, because like I said before, a lot of what I want to do is to make these videos increase in terms of production quality. So if you can, share our videos with everyone on social media that you know of. Let them know that we have a Patreon. You can actually see the link to it on the chat right now. And help us make Cinemageddon Reviews a bigger channel than what it already is. I want to make this huge, and I want to go up there and become the best YouTuber that I can possibly become. Me, my friend Diego, who is also currently working on a Last of Us video. Actually, scratch that. He's working on 2 Last of Us videos. One for the first game and another for part 2. I'm going to make sure that we become bigger than what we already are. So we're going to try our hardest, and we're going to become bigger than what we are, but we don't mind getting a little help from all of you at home. So if you can, please let everyone know what we're doing, and let everybody know that we're here to make this not only the best content on YouTube, but also the best content out here in Puerto Rico. Because I wanted to be clear, I'm a Puerto Rican content creator, and I want to go on the record by letting everybody know that I am from here. I live in Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and every one of my videos that you're seeing from here on in, if they're not in Puerto Rico, they're still going to have a lot of that Puerto Rican-esque blood in it. So even if I'm living in somewhere like North Carolina, for example, which I am planning on moving to in the future, you will still see that flag, that beautiful fucking flag, lingering in the background. Because at the end of all of this, I'm still Puerto Rican, and I want all of my videos to reflect on how much I love the fact that I'm Puerto Rican. And that's all I have to say about this. Like and share our videos, spread the word with everybody. If you haven't already, check out our Patreon, and if you can, then donate a couple of dollars to help us keep the lights on in here. And most important of all, I hope you enjoy what we do. I hope you liked the Dear Evan Hansen video that we did. I hope you'll stick around and enjoy the Last of Us video that Diego's doing. I hope you'll enjoy the video game videos that we're getting from our friend Gabe at Cinemageddon Plays. And I just hope you enjoy our content. You don't need to... Really, at the end of all of this, the fact that you're sitting here watching us and listening to us is the whole reason why I'm doing this in the first place. I love the fact that you're all here listening to us, because it shows that we do have an audience. And the fact that there's an audience listening to us is all the motivation in the world that we need in order to be able to go places that we haven't been able to do so before. So, you know the drill. Like and share our stuff, check out the Patreon and all that fun stuff. In the meantime, I'm going to take a little break for a second here, because after working on this video, I just want to unwind from anything Dear Evan Hansen for a little while, or at least until I start talking about it with Kate, because we still have a video to work on. But I'll happily wait for her to finish her Pokemon video, which I'm hearing is actually going to be very good, and you could also see a cameo from yours truly. But in the meantime, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here for us and sticking around, because I know this is a big undertaking, and I can't wait to see you again, and I can't wait to do more. And I don't know what else to say except I'll see you on the wasteland.